On March 31st, 2023, 26-year-old Madeline Kingsbury, a devoted mother of two, dropped off her children at daycare and vanished. What began as a routine day quickly spiraled into one of the most disturbing criminal cases in recent Minnesota history. This is a story about love, control, loss, and the terrifying speed at which domestic violence can turn fatal. Her disappearance triggered not only fear, but renewed conversation about how often warning signs go unrecognized until it's too late. Madeline's case forced a community and a country to confront the real and growing threat of intimate partner violence. Her story became a chilling example of how hidden abuse can explode into tragedy when least expected. It reminded people how easily silence can be mistaken for safety. 1. Background. Who was Madeline Kingsbury? Madeline was a bright, kind, and dedicated young woman. A Minnesota native, she was known for her warmth, intelligence, and deep love for her children. She worked remotely while raising her kids and co-parenting with her ex-partner, Adam Fravel. Despite challenges in the relationship, she remained devoted to her role as a mother and continued building a future for her family. Friends described her as selfless and responsible. She was also quietly planning for independence, talking to lawyers, exploring housing options, and documenting red flags in her relationship. Her story began with strength, but was clouded by signs no one took seriously enough. She kept her struggles mostly private, confiding only in close friends about the tension and fear that had started to escalate behind closed doors. She was actively researching custody arrangements and mental health support, preparing to make a safe exit. Her quiet bravery in the face of danger was admirable but heartbreaking. 2. Disappearance. A normal day turned nightmare. On the morning of March 31st, 2023, Madeline dropped her kids off at daycare and returned home. That would be the last time anyone saw her alive. By 10 a.m., Adam Fravel claimed she was missing, along with the family's van. Her phone, wallet, and ID were left behind. She didn't check in for work, and her sudden silence alarmed friends and family. The most chilling moment came from a final text she sent a friend. "Know that Adam did it. I would never leave my kids." That message shifted her case from missing person to something far darker. As hours turned into days, the eerie stillness around her home only intensified suspicion and dread among everyone who knew her. Her loved ones immediately sensed something was wrong. They knew Madeline wouldn't disappear without reason or communication. Every hour without news deepened the dread that something terrible had occurred. 3. The search. A community united. Authorities quickly labeled her disappearance involuntary and suspicious. The town of Winona responded immediately. Nearly 2,000 volunteers joined search efforts. Canines, drones, and search teams combed through woods, riverbanks, and farmland across 3 counties. Vigils were held. Flyers were distributed. Her sister Megan spoke through tears. "We just want her home." Though no physical trace turned up, the public support never faltered. This wasn't just a case. It became a mission to bring a beloved woman back to her children. As national media attention grew, so did awareness. And soon neighboring towns and volunteers from across Minnesota joined in the search. Communities bonded through grief and hope, forging solidarity across unfamiliar lines. Strangers became allies, proving that compassion still holds power in the face of horror. For the investigation, evidence builds against Adam. As the community searched, investigators began building their case. Surveillance footage tracked Madeline's van through remote areas near Fillmore County. Adam's timeline of events conflicted with location data. GPS logs and phone pings showed movements inconsistent with the story. Witnesses told police about past abuse. Texts revealed Madeline feared for her life and was preparing to separate from Adam. Unsealed court documents included testimonies of strangulation and threats, a pattern all too familiar to experts in domestic homicide cases. The more investigators uncovered, the clearer it became that Madeline had been living in fear for far longer than anyone had realized. Friends said she often looked over her shoulder, afraid of what Adam might do next. The digital footprint and witness reports created a devastating portrait of growing danger, one no longer deniable. 5. Breakthrough, a gruesome discovery. On June 7, 2023, over 2 months after Madeline's disappearance, deputies located human remains near Highway 43. They were wrapped in a gray-fitted bedsheet and secured with black Gorilla tape, matching items found in Adam's home. An autopsy confirmed what her family feared. She had been strangled. With DNA, location data, and household item matches, the evidence was irrefutable. Adam Fravel was arrested immediately and charged with murder. The news hit the community like a thunderclap. The long search had ended, but not the pain. The discovery, though devastating, brought answers to a community left in agonizing uncertainty for weeks. Her family finally received confirmation, though it came wrapped in heartbreak and horror. Even as the truth surfaced, the emotional toll left deep scars for all who had hoped for a miracle. 6. The trial, a fight for justice. Adam's trial began in late 2024 and was relocated to Mankato due to media coverage. Prosecutors presented a compelling case. Digital evidence, forensic matches, and witness testimonies painting a portrait of control and violence. Adam took the stand, maintaining his innocence, but offered inconsistent answers. The jury deliberated less than a day before finding him guilty of first and second-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in tears and relief as justice was served. The prosecution's timeline laid out the murder with chilling clarity, and Adam's demeanor throughout the trial only reinforced the impression of calculated guilt. Testimonies from domestic violence experts highlighted how often similar cases end in tragedy when early signs are ignored. The verdict was more than legal victory. It was symbolic justice for victims whose voices were ignored or silenced. 7. Sentencing, a life lost and accounted for. In December 2024, Adam was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During sentencing, Madeline's mother addressed court, mourning not just the loss of her daughter, but the theft of her grandchildren's future. Domestic violence advocates used this moment to push for stronger legislation and resources for women trying to leave abusive situations. The judge's final statement echoed the pain felt by the entire courtroom, a reminder that love should never hurt. Lawmakers in Minnesota soon cited the case while advocating for mandatory training in recognizing domestic abuse signs. Families in similar circumstances found strength in Madeline's story, using it to seek justice and protection before it was too late. The legal system delivered a sentence, but the emotional weight will linger for generations. 8. Aftermath, a legacy of awareness. Madeline's children now live with their grandparents. Madeline Kingsbury, her sister, has become a vocal advocate for victims of domestic violence. She speaks at schools, community centers, and public forums about spotting red flags and speaking up. In Madeline's name, funds were raised for shelters, hotlines, and legal aid. Her story continues to influence state policy. She didn't die in vain. Her voice lives on through education, prevention, and the community's ongoing mission to protect others like her. Her family launched a foundation aimed at prevention, ensuring no woman feels alone or unheard in similar situations. They remain committed to transforming grief into action and turning pain into policy reform. The lessons from her life and death are echoed in every voice now fighting to stop the cycle. Conclusion: how far do we let it go? Madeline's story isn't just about tragedy. It's about warning signs, missed chances, and the terrifying truth about domestic abuse. Her final words weren't just a message, they were a prophecy. Know that Adam did it. If you or someone you know is in danger, speak out. Call a hotline. Tell a friend. Trust your instincts. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below and help make sure Madeline's story continues to shine a light for those still trapped in silence.